I wanted to I wanted to dedicate an entire sequence of presentations to this book, the book of Leviticus. Okay, I wanted to I wanted to create, as I said, I wanted to create a series of presentations, but maybe I will eventually. Yet it is important. It is important that I focus on the chapter 11. Okay, in the book of Leviticus, which refers to the kosher diet. Okay, the diet specific to Judaism in particular. Okay, um, so many, a lot of a lot of paragraphs, a lot of chapters in the book of Leviticus begin by saying, "The Lord said to Moses." Okay, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron. In Leviticus 11, beginning at verse 1, that's precisely what's written there. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron. Okay, so this does mean that God was there. Okay, and in other parts of the book of Leviticus, um, it is said that the Lord, for example, the Lord spoke to Moses from the tabernacle. Okay, so um, this is an important implication. Okay, the God Himself, Yahweh, the God of Israel, the Maker of heaven and the earth, and so on and so forth, was there with His people. Okay, the, according to the law in those times. So to refresh your memory, there were 40 years in the desert. Okay, the Israelites were traveling the desert for 40 years. So the camp the camp had to be arranged in a certain way, and in a certain area of the camp there had to be a tabernacle, and in there was that was a holy place, and it was only the high priests that were allowed to enter the tabernacle and speak to the Lord. Okay, so God was there with His people. Okay, so that's Leviticus 11 verse 1. Okay. So the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Say to the Israelites, of all the animals that live on land, these are the ones you may eat. You may eat any animal that has a split hoof completely divided and that chews the cud." Okay, so I think what is referred to here is animals that eat herbs, right? It's referring to herbivores. I mean, any other animal, an animal that whose diet comprises of other kind of stuff than herbs. I don't think that kind of animal is kosher. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so this creates an interesting theory here. For example, okay, considering any type of food chain, okay, so if I'm considering any type of food chain, then even aquatic, even aquatic food chain, so animals that live in the water, if an animal is very high in the food chain, that means if they do feed on other animals and not on uh, herbs, okay, then it is forbidden to eat that animal as a human, okay. So yeah, um, and specifically, okay, uh, uh, talking specifically about aquatic food chains, then um, does have a scientific foundation because, well, um, water is poisoned these days, and even if it wasn't poisoned by human intervention, then it will be poisoned by volcanoes, like the lava that results from a volcano eruption, stuff like that. So then we have accumulations of metals in the water, and as the higher in the food chain the particular fish is, the um, the, the 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 more poisonous it is for a human being. So even normal fish, if I have a pregnant woman and they for it is known, it is known to this day, it is scientific that pregnant females cannot have too much fish. Okay, so yeah. So you may eat any animal that has a split hoof completely divided and that chews the cud. There are some that only chew the cud or only have a split hoof, but you must not eat them. The camel, though it chews the cud, does not have a split hoof. It is ceremonially unclean for you. So, yeah, do not eat camels. Okay, do not eat camels. A horse. Okay, so camels were the camels were the usual vehicles of transportation. Well, not vehicles, but they were used for transportation in the desert. So the equivalent for us Europeans and other people that are not European would be the horse. Okay, don't eat a horse. Okay. Okay, the cani, though it chews the cud, does not have a split hoof. It is unclean for you. Okay, the cani being a sort of insect. Okay, so I know that there do exist people. There do exist people that eat insects. It's I mean it's not that standard for us. I mean, if you ask me, would I eat an insect? Would I eat an ant? Would I eat a spider? Would I eat a tarantula? I don't know. Possibly not, I guess. Yeah. That's something against common sense to me, at least. I mean, would I eat a pangolin? I mean, but would I feed in on a pangolin? Okay. Um, um, I mean, apart from the risk of contracting COVID, apart from the risk of contracting COVID-19, because that's how COVID-19 started, right? COVID-19 started in Oriental Asia because somebody ate a pangolin. Okay, so yeah, don't, please guys, don't eat pangolins, okay? Because it's non-hygienic, okay? So yeah. Um, and right, the rabbit, though it chews the cud, does not have a split hoof. It is unclean for you. I think, okay, rabbits are dirty animals. Okay, the rabbits are dirty. Okay, trust me on this. I've seen rabbits. I had neighbors um, when I was back home in my village. Some neighbors were keeping rabbits, and I've seen them. I've seen what sort of an animal a rabbit is. A rabbit is unclean. Okay, I mean a rabbit goes well with the thing called sauerkraut. Okay, if you don't know what sauerkraut is, okay, even okay, so that's okay. So that's the next verse. Sorry, I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. So it says in the next verse, it says, and the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, does not chew the cud. It is unclean for you. Okay, so basically, when the animal eats, when the animal in question, so I'm not talking about a human, I'm talking about an animal here. Okay, so when the animal chews the cud, it means he's fussy to what they eat. Okay, so an animal that chews the cud, they are fussy. They are fussy to what they eat. They only eat good things, so then it's good to eat the animal. I guess that would be my interpretation on this one. But okay, I personally I do come from a culture in which we do sometimes eat pigs, okay, and they pigs go well with a thing called sauerkraut, okay. So if you don't know what sauerkraut is, it's very tasty. It's very nice. Sauerkraut is very nice, very tasty. It's cabbage. Basically, it's cabbage with it's pickled cabbage with a thing called with spices, of course, a lot of pepper and vinegar. Okay, so it's a German specialty. Okay, so sauerkraut originates in Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and okay, pork knuckles with sauerkraut are something that we sometimes eat in our culture. Yet that is the pig itself, the animal, the pig, is the reason for contention in to this day. Okay, because Christians eat pigs and um, people coming the other two Abrahamic religions. Okay, so Muslims and Jews alike, they're very fussy on this topic. They don't eat pigs. Okay, so once again, if you are to have okay, so a Jewish, so basically, this is a sensitive topic. Okay, this is important. If you are to have, first of all, a Jewish person will not break bread with you. Okay, if you're not Jewish, if you are not Jewish yourself, it is forbidden that it is forbidden for a Jewish person to break bread with you. It is forbidden that to have to eat with you. Okay. Yet a Muslim person may not be okay. A person following Islam may not be that fussy. And well, if you do have a Muslim friend for dinner, please don't serve pig. Okay, you don't serve pig to a Muslim person. You just don't do that. Okay, I trust me on this one. Okay, so rabbits and pigs, it says in the next verse, you must not eat their meat or touch their carcasses. they are unclean for you. So, for people observing the kosher diet, don't even touch a pig. Okay, so a pig being a pig being an animal with a split hoof that does not chew the cud. Okay, so so don't touch a pig. Okay. All right. So again, of all the creatures living in the water of the seas and the streams, you may eat any that have fins and scales. But all creatures in the seas or streams that do not have fins and scales, whether among all the swarming things or among all the other living creatures in the water, you are to detest. Now that is a strong word, detest. Okay, so I guess a pangolin is excluded here. Okay, so yeah. I guess I am to detest the pangolin, right? And okay, even as a Christian, I would not eat a pangolin. Yeah. And okay, and it goes on to say, and since you are to detest them, you must not eat their meat, and you must detest their carcasses. Don't even touch them. Okay, if you are to fish such a fish from the sea, you are to throw it back as they do on TV these days. Okay, so and let us go on. Anything living in the water that does not have fins and scale is to be detestable to you. These are the birds you are to detest and not eat because they are detestable. The eagle, the vulture, the black vulture, the red kite, and any kind of black kite, any kind of raven, the horned owl, the screech owl, the gull, any kind of hawk, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the white owl, the desert owl, the osprey, the stork, and any kind of heron, the hoopoe, and the bat. Okay, so these are birds of prey, right? So they prey. They are high on the food chain. Okay, you are not to touch them, those creatures. I mean, okay, am I going to am I going to eat an eagle? That's disgusting to me. Okay, even I'm not Jewish. I'm not a Muslim. And I'm thinking about eating an eagle. I feel like throwing up already. Okay, so that is a bad thing. Okay, these are birds of prey. Sometimes they eat cadavers. You know what I mean? These are birds that eat cadavers. Okay, you don't eat that sort of stuff. Okay, that is a taboo. All right. Okay, let us go on. Verse 20. All flying insects that walk on all fours are to be detestable to you. There are, however, some winged creatures that walk on all fours that you may eat. Those that have jointed legs for hopping on the ground. Of these you may eat any kind of locust, katydid, cricket, or grasshoppers. Okay, so back in those days, people were eating locusts and grasshoppers. Okay. But all other winged creatures that have four legs you are to detest. You will make yourselves unclean by these. Whoever touches their carcasses will be unclean till evening. Okay? Whoever picks up one of their carcasses must wash his clothes, and he will be unclean till evening. Every animal that has a split hoof, not completely divided, or that does not chew the cud is unclean for you. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them will be unclean. Of all the animals that walk on all fours, those that walk on their paws are unclean for you. Whoever touches their carcasses will be unclean till evening. Okay, so okay, you have a paw. Okay, you have not you. Okay, an animal that has a paw and doesn't have a hoof. Well, that's unclean, I guess. So that's okay. So Okay, so let me think about this. Okay, so cats. Okay, so I have a cat. I know. Okay, so I have a cat. That's my pet. Okay, I don't eat a cat. I don't eat my pet. All right. So first of all, it is my pet. It is my friend. I feed my pet. Okay, you know what I mean. I don't eat cats. I don't eat dogs. Those are the animals that have paws. Okay. Um, I think. Well, sorry about this. I think some people do. Some people eat cats and dogs, or so I heard. But I don't think they are the aristocrats. Okay, I think it's the poor people who eat cats and dogs. Okay, so I think the aristocrats would feed on pig. Okay, I think. Okay, so if I was to be an aristocrat and break the the commandments laid right here in the book of Leviticus, then I'll probably eat pig and sauerkraut, right? That's what aristocrats eat. Okay. But okay, so let us go on. So if an animal has paws and they walk on their paws, okay, this is an interesting point. These animals are not clean. Anyone who picks up their carcasses must wash their clothes, and they will be clean. They will be unclean until evening. They are unclean for you. Okay, of the animals that move about on the ground, these are unclean for you. The weasel, okay, the weasel is unclean. The rat, okay, you must not eat a rat, okay. Any kind of a lizard, okay, so I guess that excludes the pangolin. So yeah, so you cannot eat the pangolin, okay. The gecko, the monitor lizard, the wall lizard, the skink, and the chameleon. Okay, so yeah, you cannot eat the chameleon. Okay, thanks. Of all those that move along the ground, these are unclean for you. Whoever touches them, when they are dead, they will be unclean till evening. Okay, so okay. Unclean till evening means that you cannot enter a place of worship, or you okay, depending on how you look at it, you can't even touch your wife or your spouse, okay, if you are unclean until evening. Okay, so when one of them dies and falls on something, that article, whatever it's used, will be unclean, whether it is made of wood, cloth, hide, or sackcloth. Put it in water, it will be unclean till evening, and then it will be clean. If one of them falls into a clay pot, everything in it will be unclean, and you must break the pot. Any food that could be eaten but has water on it from such a pot is unclean, and any liquid that could be drunk from it is unclean. So okay, apart from not eating them, you're not allowed to. You are not allowed to pickle them. You cannot pickle ants. Okay, you cannot pickle insects. Certain kind of insects. I mean, grasshoppers. It says, technically speaking, you are allowed to eat grasshoppers. Okay, so if if you're a grasshopper fan, okay, hello, sorry, I didn't mean to offend people. I know there exist people that are grasshopper fans. Please just dig into grasshoppers. Okay, grasshoppers are okay. All right, so according to the book of Leviticus, if you do like that kind of stuff, just dig into it. Okay, just eat as many grasshoppers and locusts as you please. Okay, because they are kosher. Okay, and okay, going further, anything that one of their carcasses falls on becomes unclean. An oven or cooking pot must be broken up. They are unclean, and you are to regard them as unclean. A spring, however, or a cistern for collecting water remains clean, but anyone who touches one of these carcasses is unclean. If a carcass falls on any seeds that are to be planted, they remain clean. But if water has been put on the seed and a carcass falls on it, it is unclean for you. If an animal that you are allowed to eat dies, anyone who touches the carcass will be unclean till evening. Okay, so an animal must be killed in order. An animal must be killed in order to eat their flesh. You are not. If the animal dies, then okay, hello. Okay, so you have a pig. You have a pig in your house. Okay, if the pig has died, then you are not allowed to eat the pig. Okay, so it's like that a lot, right? So yeah, I mean that sort of stuff is common sense. Okay, so um, if you are to eat the flesh of an animal, you must kill the animal, right? Otherwise it's not good. Okay, don't make me explain things in a fine grain level, because well, it's not. To me, that is common sense. Okay, an animal must be put to death in order to eat its flesh. Okay, so if a carcass falls on any seeds that are to be planted, they remain clean. But if water has been put on the seed and a carcass falls on it, it is unclean for you. If an animal that you are allowed to eat dies, anyone who touches the carcass will be unclean till evening. Sorry, I repeated this. Anyone who eats some of the carcass must wash his clothes, and he will be unclean till evening. Anyone who picks up the carcass must wash his clothes, and he will be unclean till evening. Every creature that moves about on the ground is detestable. It is not to be eaten. So, okay, a creature that moves about, you're not to eat snakes. Okay, you're not to eat snakes. You're not to eat lizards, I guess. Okay, that's moves about. Okay, that's yeah. You are not to eat any creature that moves about on the ground, whether it moves on its belly or walks on all fours or on many feet. It is detestable. So that excludes snakes and tarantulas. Okay, please don't touch snakes, and I mean, of course, don't touch them, but do not ingest them. Do not eat snakes and tarantulas. Okay, do not defile yourselves by any of these creatures. Do not make yourselves unclean by means of them, or be made unclean by them. Okay? So, okay, that's about it. Okay? So, yeah, I guess most of it is common sense, apart from the pig. Okay? Well, I'm personally I'm vegetarian. I do eat beef sometimes. So sorry, I know that there's people from India watching this right now. Yes, I sometimes I go to McDonald's, I eat beef. Okay, and then okay, yeah, I have a quarter pounder. Okay, I do have a quarter pounder at McDonald's. So that's mixing meats with dairy, and that's not kosher either. Okay, so basically if I mix the flesh of an animal, the flesh of an animal that was killed, if I mix it with the dairy products, so I mix it with um, dairy products, well, that's not kosher. Okay, and okay, there exist reasons for this which are very, very deep. Okay, so the symbolism behind it is that, okay, whenever acts of cruelty are performed, such as killing, we are not to involve females in this. Okay, so okay, that's a little bit of a subtle point. Okay, That's a subtle point, yet I think that is the intended symbolism. Okay, and then there's the ending. Okay, verse 44. I am the Lord your God. Consecrate yourselves and be holy, because I am holy. Do not make yourselves unclean by any creature that moves about on the ground. I am the Lord who brought you up out of Egypt to be your God. Therefore be holy, because I am holy. Okay, so yeah, and the last two verses, 46 and 47, it says, these are the regulations concerning animals, birds, every living thing that moves in the water, and every creature that moves about on the ground. You must distinguish between the unclean and the clean, between living creatures that may be eaten and those that may not be eaten. Okay, so yes, most of it is common sense. The only contentious point would be the pig. Okay, to this day, pigs are very, very attractive. Okay, so I know, okay, pigs are famous all over the world, yet so pigs are famous everywhere, yet don't okay, so they are attractive, apparently, from what I've been gathering, they have become attractive to people following Judaism too. Yet, okay, there's nothing special about pigs, guys. Okay, so yeah. Um, Personally, I'm a vegetarian. Um, as I'm trying to be a vegetarian, except whenever I'm not. Okay, so sometimes I'm having a quarter pounder, because that's all that I like from McDonald's. So that's a stack of meat and some cheese on top, which is microwaved basically. So yeah, but generally, I'm trying to be a vegetarian, and it does work wonders. Okay, so it's vegetarianism is very, very good. That's okay. So that's me. I am a man of extremes. Okay, for me, I'm a very black and white kind of guy, if you know what I mean. So um, I'm very, very black and white. For me, it's all or nothing. Okay, so yeah. Um, so what can I say? Try to abide by the kosher laws as much as possible, and to all of the people that are following Judaism. I mean, there's two aspects about Judaism. Okay, there's the kosher laws, and there's observing the Sabbath in properly, in a proper way. So to all of the people that are following Judaism, and they can hear this talk, happy Hanukkah, and yeah, thank you for your attention.